Where did everybody go? I am Julie Glenn. I am a life coach, and I am also a published author of the book, If My Ass Were Smaller, Life Would Be Perfect, and Other Lies. The mean girl in your head tells you. We all have that voice that has something to say. My book is primarily about what your voice says about your body image, shape, size, appearance. Body shaming is wrong. And it certainly should be coming from the inside of your head. We probably wouldn't be friends with anybody that spoke to us the same way that we speak to ourselves. And that voice that's in our head that speaks to us like that, I refer to that as our mean girl voice. And I am here to share with you 4 tips to start shifting that voice in your head into something that's critical and degrading, into something that is encouraging, supporting, at least that direction. My book addresses other topics, but anyway, the first step that I suggest for shifting that mean girl voice in your head is to notice her. One of the ways you can notice your mean girl, this is what I think about. Some cars they have today, they have that thing called lane assist. And so like if you start to take your car out of the lane, but you didn't put your turn signal on, your car doesn't want to go into that lane. It wants you to stay in the lane that you're in. That is your mean girl. She's going to do that with the choices that you make or the risks that you decide to take. She doesn't want to go out of the lane because that's where you get run over by passing cars and criticism and everything else. Just stay in the middle of the road and you'll be safe. So the first step I recommend in shifting her is to notice. To notice when she comes up. She's going to make you feel resistance. You're going to see something and immediately be like, no, I can't do that. That's wrong. It's out of my lane, and I don't want to go out of my lane. So my first step is notice when you're feeling a resistance to go out of your lane. That's your mean girl, trying to keep you in the safety of the travel lane. The second thing that I recommend for shifting the mean girl voice in your head is to give this voice a name. A lot of people go, oh yeah, that's your inner critic. Well, an inner critic is a negative name. An inner critic is always going to be a critic. And the point of shifting the mean girl voice in your head is to make her become more supportive or helpful, knowledgeable, work with you to go out of your lane and to not always stay in it. So I recommend give her a name that you can work with. I had somebody read my book and I asked them, what did you name your mean girl? She says, oh, I had the perfect name. I named her after this nasty girl I went to elementary school with. She was so mean. Everybody hated her. I skipped school because I was afraid of her. I hated her so much. And I was like, no. You want to give your girl a name that you can work with, one that you can say to her, I'm scared, help me out. And instead of having her say, you should be scared, you're trying to leave the lane, she says, it's okay, I think we got this. You want a name that you can work with. But one thing I discovered came up recently in a group of people that had read my book, and we talked about what you name your mean girl. Crickets. Nobody said anything. And I'm like, I wonder why nobody's coming up with the name for the mean girl. So then I said, who wants me to give you a name for your mean girl? And they were like, I do. So they got stuck on what to give their mean girl a name. So my second step, give your mean girl a name, and a side step from that step is if you need help, I can name your mean girl. I will give you a name for your mean girl so you don't get caught up in that step. And then the third step in shifting your mean girl is to acknowledge and challenge her. So she's going to give you resistance when you try to do something that's outside of your comfort zone. That's fine. Think about like when you have a dog and somebody knocks at your door and your dog goes crazy. You acknowledge your dog. Thank you, sit, I have this. So when your mean girl says, for example, you see a job posting in the paper for a job you want, and immediately your mean girl's like, they're gonna get 1,000 applicants, they're not gonna hire you, you're probably not qualified, don't even bother. You acknowledge her. I hear you, thank you, I'm driving the bus here, I got this, I got it. The other thing with acknowledging your mean girl is, as she starts to shift and you start to work together, working and shifting your mean girl it's almost kind of like comparable to relationship coaching. You're working on the relationship that you have between your conscious brain, my Julie, and my mean girl, and we need to get a cohesive relationship going. Sometimes as that goes on, your mean girl's going to come through and she is going to help you out. For example, I used this as an example at my booth earlier. I know for a fact, if I go out for lunch and they refill my Diet Coke 2 or 3 times, 1:30 in the morning, I'm wide awake. Your mean girl, when she starts coming through, is going to tell you, you know, you drink 3 Diet Cokes at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you're going to be awake all night long. Acknowledge that. Thank you. You know what? You're right. Don't drink the 3 Diet Cokes and at 1 o'clock in the morning, beat yourself up like, what the hell was I doing? What was I thinking? Look, I should have known better. I know better. I don't. So that's the goal, is to bring your mean girl into a place where she helps you, keeps you on track, lets you make the choice. Yes, I'm going to drink the 3 Diet Cokes. I don't care if I'm up all night long. I'm going to eat nachos at 10 o'clock at night, knowing full well those aren't going to sit well with me until the morning. Make choices and then live with it, as opposed to doing it secondary and letting the mean girl beat you up later. I have like no time left. The 4th step, of course, the 4th step. My book will help you find more steps to shift the mean girl in your head. So my 4th step is buy my book, read my book. I have a Facebook group of people that have read my book, and we talk about things and apply. There are activities and exercises to do in the book to help you start to make the shift so that your mean girl is on your side and not working against you. Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody want their mean girl name?
Tasha. Yeah, I'll take a mean girl name.
Name your mean girl? I will. As soon as we're done, I will name it. I brought name tags for your mean girls. You guys need mean girl names?
We need a mean girl.
Anybody else want a mean girl name? I'll give them to you after. Do you have a question or you want a mean girl name?
Me.
Okay, I'll give you one as soon as I'm done. Are there any other questions?
I got one. Tasha.
Your mean girl's name is Tasha? Nice.
I don't know a Tasha.
You don't know anybody named Tasha?
Yeah, it seems nice.
That's awesome. That's good. That's perfect. No questions? We did it in 15 minutes or less. Thank you to my new friend who recorded for me.
So thank you, Julie. And just